And I need to understand what gains were had based off of that growth and based off of that new information. I decide to do more of what I do, but just do it in a more informed way, a more efficient way. So here at the Is That So show, understand that Is That So-ness is about equanimity. It's about harmony. There are things that match, that fit with us, things that represent our truth, such as you may like a certain sport, and you really, really, really love that sport and you love to play it, even if you're not part of the league, that says something true about you. I love journaling. I love reading books. That says something that's true about me. Equanimity, which is the ability to remain serene in spite of being bombarded with stressors. There are so many obligations present in life that many of us find it difficult to move into that authentic space where we do what fulfills us instead of doing what it is that we feel we have to do in order to maintain our existence, to continue on living. Again, subsistence needs are different than growth needs, and we both need them most. But when we talk about our own personal need, and I ask somebody what they need, they'll tell me, well, I need food, water, shelter, somebody to have sex with every now and again, That's pretty much all they say. But what about the need to know that you're important? The need to know that you are worthy, that you are significant to somebody? What about your need to love? What about your need for leisure, which isn't a luxury? And I'm going to say this specifically to people of color, Black and brown people of color. I understand where we come from. I understand that we got to work 2 and 3 different jobs. And so as far as this leisure thing, that just seems like so far out of reach. But I want you to understand that leisure is every bit as important as damn near as important as the air you breathe. I ain't gonna say every bit because you can die pretty quickly if you stop holding your breath, but it's extremely important to your mental wellness. You need to give your mind a break because your mind is not attuned to you going out there and spending your day in and day out building up somebody else's kingdom. Think about that. When you get hired on as a quote unquote employee, every single moment that you spend at that job, you're spending your life hours on this planet. And so you can work typical jobs, say 8 hours, which a lot of jobs will go over 8 hours now, but let's just say 8 hours, 9 to 5, 8 hours with a lunch in between. You get home, you're exhausted. You go in immediately to try to take care of yourself, do something to make yourself feel better. And then you take a shower, go to sleep, do it all over again. How much of that 24-hour period did you work for you? How much of that 24-hour period did you pour into you? What did you build up today? You're always building something. We are many creators. And so no matter what we do, we are always creating something. Even our sleep, we are creating things in our environment. How much of your time have you intentionally devoted towards you? Ignorance and freedom cannot coexist. And so, this moving into a space of authenticity, which means remaining lit for life. And y'all know what the motto is: to stay lit. Lit means L-I-T, live in truth, live in your truth, because how closely in alignment you are with your values determines the rate or the extent to which you are being authentic in that space. The more closely aligned you are with your values, the more authentic you're being. The thing that keeps us from being our authentic self, though, is shame. And I've spoken about that before, and I'm not going to speak too much about it because I'm going to jump back into it with a sister I invited on the show. But shame, when you look up the words shame and you look at the origin of it, it says to cover. Shame covers things. And so what is that shame that you're carrying around covering? Your true authentic self. Because you've been told a story, maybe from others and maybe from yourself, probably both. You've been told a story that you are not enough, that you are unworthy. And it's in that space of unworthiness, this trance of unworthiness, that we seek to make ourselves worthy enough to belong, because all of us want to belong. That's all we want. This pandemic, not epidemic of loneliness, but this pandemic of loneliness that many of us are experiencing. Loneliness is the experience of feeling disconnected from life. You could be in a crowd and still feel lonely. Aloneness is a state of being, but loneliness is the experience of feeling disconnected. So many of us are feeling disconnected from others, and even worse, disconnected from ourselves. So Is That So? Is about returning to that place of equanimity, that place of harmony, where we can remove the scales from our eyes and remove the things that other people put on us, move from that space of fears that we've inherited and move back to what is inherent to us, what is true to us. That's where the beauty is at. That's where life is at. And I know it's scary, but you got to choose to do it anyway. Freedom exists on the other side of your fears. And as we are liberated from our fears, as Marianne Williamson says, as we are liberated from our fears, our very presence give others permission to do the exact same. So I'm the Nocturnal Therapist. Let's get right into this show. Again, I'm extremely excited to have a special guest on. She is an intuitive life coach. Come on now. Sevenfold Coaching, imposter syndrome, live smart. She's going to have to explain that to me. Work your mojo. You know, she has a lot of hashtags I'm going to put up here, but some of the hashtags, I feel like the hashtags are important to mention. Live smart. Oh, live smart, not live smart. Live smart. Hashtag imposter syndrome, hashtag work your mojo, hashtag intuitive coaching, hashtag success, hashtag podcast, hashtag spiritual coach, hashtag light worker, hashtag clairvoyant, hashtag southern hoodoo. Got to know about that. Hashtag Proverbs 31 woman, hashtag black girl magic, hashtag modern mystic. Come on now. Woo. I mean, I'm put that down there too, because I don't know if I stumbled over it, but I'm gonna want y'all to read it too if y'all looking at it. There's a lot of hashtags there. I wasn't playing around. I wasn't making that up. I'm good, but I ain't that damn good. So anyway, without further ado, let me invite my guest onto the stage, Miss Felicia Miller Johnson. Come on, welcome to the stage.
Hello, hi, Harry. Look, I was back here taking my notes because you was dropping some knowledge in the beginning. I was like, yes, brother, go.
Wait. Say again.
I said I was writing notes down, but all that knowledge you was dropping in the beginning, I was like, yes, Harry, come with it. Come with
it. You're taking some notes, sister.
Of course. We're always constantly learning. I was like, yes.
I appreciate it, sister. I appreciate it. I said something that resonated. But tell us, first off, welcome to the stage. Welcome to the stage. And, I like to get the introduction out the way. So if you don't mind, I'm going to give you the stage and let you give you a minute or so just to introduce yourself to the people and let them know what you're doing.
Yeah. Aloha, everyone. I'm Felicia Miller Johnson. So a good way to describe, I'm a Proverbs 31 woman who's also into Southern hoodoo. So I'm a conjurer, Proverbs 31 woman. So I grew up thinking I had to be twice as good. Because for those of you that may be listening to the audio, I'm an African-American female. So it was like, you got to be always on your A game. You got to do everything well. So with that came imposter syndrome. So I was managing, I had success, but then, you grow up and you become an adult. So you add to that a job, add to that a husband, add to that a kid, another kid. And you're like, how do I handle all of that? Right? And growing up with the Christian background, the expectations of being a Proverbs 31 woman. But then how do you deal with this growing change in your spirituality as well? And so many people have heard the phrase work smarter, not harder. I heard the phrase live smart. So once I came to my breaking points, I decided, okay, Felicia, you worked smart. Now it's time for you to live smart. And so that is what I'd love to share more with you during this episode today.
I'm back here stirring up my tea. When I heard you say live smart and not work smart, I spilled my tea. I was like, ooh, I got to get on in this one. I got to get on it. Look, I done spilled it on my computer and everything. I ain't worried about it. But this knowledge is more important. This is priceless. So what you mean? Tell me the difference between live smart versus working smart.
Right. Because I grew up with the expectation that you always got to be working. You always got to be doing something. You have to produce something. So growing up, I was smart. I got all A's. I know how to do that. I know how to work efficiently. But I was a human doing versus a human being.
Hold up. Okay. So, since you're going to be dropping juice like that, I'm going to need you to get closer to that mic because you sound low. Is there any way you can move the mic close to you, turn up the volume?
All right. Here. Yes, I'm turning up the volume. And I also have a little lapel as well that maybe that'll help as well. So you let me know.
All right. I'm going to let you know. And don't worry. We're going to block all this out. We'll knock all this out. But I want people to hear. I need people to hear the power that you're saying. Yes. Because they heard it from me. I don't think they believe me though.
Got you. It's like your parents. You got to hear it from somebody else sometimes.
Exactly. But Jesus said, "It's only in a prophet's hometown does he not have honor."
Okay.
Come on now. I ain't no prophet in the land. I'm just saying. The principle stands. Okay. You got it.
Hold on. Let's see. Switch it over. How's that? Is that better?
Speak up.
It's a lapel. Is that better? Is a lapel
Put it closer to you. Put the lapel closer to you.
Hold on, let me clip it. Hello? Is that better?
It still sounds kind of low. Let me turn my volume all the way up.
Hold on, let me okay, take off the automatic adjust volume. How's that? Hello?
You sound good. You sound good. I can hear you.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure post-production we can even turn your volume up even more.
Okay.
But it just sounded a lot lower than me. That's all I was concerned about. But
okay.
Let's get into it. I can hear you though. So let's get into it. Tell me again.
Hello.
What is it?
Okay. I took off the echo.
You hear echo?
Okay, so I do not. So let me put that back. So I had the echo cancellation. Let me go back to cam and mic, audio, echo cancellation. Put that back on for you. How's that?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So yes.
Yeah, the question was live smart versus, work smart. Like, help me out with that.
Yeah, because I was busy working smart, but that meant I was a human doing versus a human being. And so that was tiring. That was stressful. And so I got the phrase of live smart. And as you had the acronym about, living lit or getting lit?
Stay lit.
Stay lit.
Live in truth.
Stay lit. Mine is live smart. And so what that means is S is see yourself and awaken. Who are you? Okay. So like, for example, my name means happy. Felicia means happy. But there was a time that I was not happy at all. I was stressed out. Like I'm not living out my namesake. Many of y'all familiar with 𝐦𝐤𝐤𝐿 in the movie Friday. That was such a trigger for me because in that movie, Felicia was a crackhead. Felicia was being dismissed. That's what Bye Felicia came from. And so when I would hear that, I was like, people are like, oh, bye, Felicia. And I'm like, no, I don't want to be dismissed. I don't. So I had to take back the power in my name. No, your name means happy. So all they are saying is bye happy, or they are saying bye to their happiness, whichever one that is for them. But take back your name. Who are you? So that meant going on to a journey, discovering like numerology, doing assessments, like learning more about what all that is and who I am. I had to awaken to myself, see yourself and awaken. Then I had to master my emotions. Now, because I am an African American woman, the common emotion that you may have thought or seen expressed was anger. But you have to avoid the whole, ooh, she's an angry black woman, mad black woman, right? So I would squash all that. I also had a military background. It was about just focusing on the goal. We ain't got time for all these emotions. Stay focused. And so something that may be frustrating me, I had to be present in that moment. I had to learn how to master. Felicia, what are you feeling in this moment right now? Are you jealous? Are you bored? Are you happy? What is it? I wouldn't ask myself that. Then I had to discover, how do I master all that? How do I deal with the flow and all of what that comes into alignment with when I'm interacting with other people? So I had to learn how to master the upward scale and the downward scale. And that led me to the A, which is the ask, believe, and receive. Felicia, what is it that you want? You ask somebody what they want right now, most of them will tell you what they don't want, but not able to express what it is that they do want.
Come on. Okay, we're going to have some fun. I say this all the time. Affirmations. I try to teach my people affirmations. And so when I'm teaching them affirmations, they always go with the don't want. But again, understand that you are a mini creator. And so as a creator, you create things. You do not create a thing. There's no way to not create a thing. And so it's not about what you don't want. It's about what you do want. And everything that you stare at is reality. And so whatever you stare at, you put attention to. Wherever attention goes, energy flows. And so whatever you stare at eventually becomes your reality because of that. And so now when you say what you don't want, you're connecting to your don't wants instead of what it is, what you truly desire. Ergo, the principle, whatever you fear, you attract. Please continue, sister.
There you go. So then once you even get to the point where you decide, okay, this is what I'm going to ask for, do you really believe that you can receive it?
Come on, talk about belief now.
No. I don't really, yeah. I I want this, but they're at that but to that. I don't really believe, and especially coming from the whole, spiritual background. And it's like, do you not believe in that whole scripture about, have faith, have a faith of a mustard seed of what you want? Like, did you not get that scripture in your Bible? But
I got it in mind. I tell people all the time, it says, faith the size of a mustard seed can move a mountain. I said, I have faith the size of a watermelon. How bad you think I am?
Okay. Right. So then therefore you receive the things that you want. But the other way around, you receiving stuff, but you're receiving what you don't want. So I had to learn how to figure out what it was that I want and the techniques in order to get those things.
Mm-hmm.
But then I had to go to the shout out to the different world, the relax, the relate, and the release. That message came to me because Whitley went to a counselor. Hey, can we talk about that? How many people think Black people don't go to counseling? They're shamed to ask for help because you're supposed to be strong. You're supposed to have it all together. Everybody's leaning on you. So, hey, that stood out to that. But I had to learn, like I said, I was busy doing. I had to learn how to relax. I had to learn how to release some stuff, some people, some situations, all of that in my life. So I had to figure all that out, what that meant for me. And then finally, it was like, okay, Felicia, you got to talk wisely. School of Yoda. What are the words that you are saying in your head that are coming out your mouth that no longer serve you? For example, when's the last time you said the word trying? I'm trying to lose weight. I am trying to get this podcast off the ground. I am trying to go back to school. I am trying all of this. You look up the word trying, and it literally means difficult, annoying, hard to endure. So now put that before anything that you're wanting to bring about. Oh, I'm trying to lose weight. Struggle. That's what I said. Trying is a struggle word. Just say what it is that you want. But that aligns with the other words like should. I should do this. I can't do that. You're disempowering yourself.
How are the words should and whatever? How does that disempower a person?
The energy with it. Say it. Okay. You go to the gym. I should go to the gym. Just the vibration of that right there. I should. There is some, I really don't want to, but there is some expectation somewhere that somebody has established upon me. Maybe, my doctor told me I need to lose weight, or my spouse, or whatever case, I should go to the gym. It's not clean. It's not a high energy vibe word versus as I'm going to the gym. I want to go to the gym.
And I would suggest that those words also represent things that we've inherited instead of what is inherent to us. Because who is what part of us is saying the should? What part of us is holding these shoulds?
And most people don't even know.
Exactly. And expectation, when you do that should, these expectations be attached to an outcome. And now you become outcome driven, and you agree to hold your emotions in purgatory until that outcome is produced. And in the meantime, you're anxious until it's manifested into this physical reality. Expectations is the greatest source of frustration.
Oh, very much so. Yeah. So that was all an acronym for me of how do I think about all of that stuff efficiently and quickly. And it's Felicia, are you living smart? And then based off of what's going on in my life, I know it's one of those things. And so that's the principle. And it's like, what's the advice? How do you live smart? Because that's something that was always affiliated with who I was growing up. Growing up, had the expectation, you got to get all A's. You got to be smart. Heck, my nickname was Brain. Brain. So the expectations that come with that, like you got, if we put it in today's terms, I was my parents' Google, Siri, like all of that. When you want to know the answer, ask Brain, she'll tell you. Brain, I know you know how to figure this out. And then you're like, I really don't know, but you feel as though you're not able to say that, right? You can't be authentic. Dang, I don't have all the answers. I don't know. And that's what helped me to just feel like, okay, yeah, I'm still smart, but I'm living smart now.
So what does it mean to live smart again?
See yourself and awaken. Master your emotions. Ask, believe, and receive. Relax, relate, and release, and talk wisely.
Ooh, so let's go into that a little bit. The first step was what?
See yourself and awaken.
So tell me, what does that mean? What does that entail?
So to see yourself is discovering more about who you are. A lot of people do not know who they are. Right now, I have talked to many people when they talk about their name, where I was saying, like, my name means happy. And you say, do you know what the meaning of your name is? And they be like, no. And I'm talking about people that are like 50 years old. No. Never bothered to look it up. Never bothered to Google it. And it's like, that's what people, the vibration, are speaking over you. When they say, hi, so-and-so, hi, Felicia, the vibration is, hi, happy. Yes, I am happy. Thank you. Yes, I am living out that. Yes. So that's the exploration to find out more about who you are. And that's what I'm saying. Assessments. What are your character values? What are your strengths? What do you do really well? Excel at. Learn more about who you are. Take the time to study you. How many times do we take the time to study somebody we want to date or engage with or something like that, but you don't know nothing about yourself?
And if you don't know nothing about, I'm sorry, did I cut you off, sister?
No, go ahead.
Come on, you be getting me excited, girl, whenever you start talking like that, flowing the way you're flowing. And when you don't know about yourself, you see, knowledge again is power. Ignorance and freedom cannot coexist. And so when we choose to remain ignorant about who we are, when we choose to remain, we basically relegate or surrender, acquiesce our power to somebody else who will take the time to not only study things about themselves, but also study you. You know, as a therapist, you know, a lot of things people don't know, but everything is mental health. There's a whole lot of pimping going on out here in the mental health game, and it's been that way since mental health, before mental health was mental health. And it comes in a form of propaganda oftentimes. And this is to make the point about ignorance and freedom cannot coexist. So my one of the things that I thought, you know, and again, just asking, being curious about life and asking yourself questions. One of the things I was curious about, like, why would somebody spend money? And clearly they spend a lot of money to do this 30-minute infomercial in the middle of the night when everybody's sleeping. That makes no sense. That is not smart. You know, that's what I was thinking. And then I realized that, oh, okay, if you're up 2-3 o'clock in the morning, that means that you sleep deprived. If you're sleep deprived, more than likely, your critical thinking skills are turned off. So the stimulus is you see a person holding up a brick of shit and they're smiling and they say, you buy this, you can smile too. And because your critical thinking skills are off, because you're not functioning on full faculties, because you're sleep deprived, you're inclined to believe that that thing will satiate the pain or discomfort or void that you're feeling.
Now, here's another perspective to that of why those are also at night. Because let's say how many of you go to sleep with the TV on and those words are reverberating in your subconscious. I need this. That's what people think, like, I'm just completely out of it. No, you're not. That's when a lot of programming is done also when you are asleep.
Come on. You better tell them. Go ahead. You better tell them.
Look. So yeah, that's why some of that stuff is at night, because even if you are awake, like you said, you're not fully functional. But then even if you're asleep and you have that stuff playing, it is oozing and going into your body, your subconscious. And then you wake up and you wonder why you feeling icky, like, or because that's been programmed, downloaded in you all night long.
Words have power. It's energy. And so what you're listening to, you're allowing your body to absorb, you know, your mind to absorb, your spirit to absorb. And so, sure, after the first 15 minutes or so, your mind, the analytical mind, if you have the energy, will be up there and trying to, you know, figure out what's what, if this is healthy or not. But if you continue to listen beyond that point, I forget if it's exactly 15 minutes, but if you listen beyond that point, no matter what time of day it is, the mind is going to assume that you know what you're doing and that it's not going to harm you. And then it's going to begin to saturate yourself. How many of us listen to self-hatred music, you know, all throughout the day? Hours upon hours upon hours. As a heart-centered hypnotherapist, what I learned is that all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. So if you hear the same thing over and over and over again, whatever you stare at becomes your reality. Perception is reality. We don't see things as they are. We see them as we are. And so you become what you hear.
So putting that in everyday terms, you just I'm saying you just broke up with your man, and now you're gonna listen to sad songs all day long, relationship songs. Does that all of a sudden bring you out? Does it help you to feel better per se? Usually, it keeps you in that same little. Oh, she can relate to me. The understanding that. And like I get it, there are certain times that you can do that may be comforting. But like you said, that's where you have to master that emotional skill. You got to realize, okay, I'm right here. So now what do I need to go to the next step? Maybe I need to play a song like, yeah, I want to bust your windows out your car kind of thing. Like, yeah, now I'm going to take this like, you know what? I wish you love and light. Okay. So like you progress your way up. But so many times we're taking that downward spiral of emotion and we just keep going down and we sink and we sink and we sink. But yes, music is very key. That's we talked about my intuitive ability, clairvoyant. Many times that's how I get messages is through songs. They will communicate to you. There are songs that you can listen to. And you be like, have you listened to the actual words? And you break that down. You're like, what does the lyrics say? And you be like, I had no idea that's what they were saying. Because you were jamming to that beat, but it was going into your subconscious.
Words have power. In one of my sessions, this one particular client, they were saying, I just can't find the motivation to clean up my house. And that wasn't the point of why I was happening, because I just met this person, and but they said it so many times that I had to address it. Me being a teacher, I had to address it right then and there. I said, listen, start using not I want, because even want, I don't even like the word want, because want implies lack. And if you say I want, you're saying I lack, and that introduces and invites in more lack. I said, write in, I say I will, I am. When you make I am statements, now you're stepping into your authority as a creator. So I will clean up. I will clean up. And I modeled that, because in therapy sessions, oftentimes I'm serving as a model. So I modeled that. I must have said that about 40 times that day. Went home, exhausted, got in an argument with my wife, went to sleep, exhausted. Woke up 10 p.m., a stack of stuff that was filled up on our dining room table, because I'm a therapist, she's a teacher. And so you can imagine the type of paperwork, that we have accumulated. We have 2 printers in one house, like it's ridiculous. That had been sitting there for months. This beautiful long table was filled up with these books and paperwork and a bunch of stuff we had to shred. From 10 p.m. when I woke up to 2 a.m., 10 p.m. that day of that session to 2 a.m., without even thinking about it, I went up there to get something to drink, because I hadn't eaten or drinking that day. Went up there to get something to drink. I started cleaning up from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., listening to inspirational talks by typically by Les Brown. And I cleaned up all of that, something I had been putting on for months upon months. And then after I got done with it, I was like, oh, that's right, Harry. You heard yourself speak in first person. I will clean up. And then you hypnotize yourself. It no longer became a hindrance. You told your mind what it was going to do, and it did it, because the mind is a tool.
Right. But you see how you weren't even consciously aware that, like you said, you was programming yourself at the time when you were speaking those things. That's how it is. But that client in particular was, as you know, it's all connected. They were a mirror of what you needed to take care of at home as well. Like, okay. So yeah. It happens all the time. Like you said, as coaches, the experiences where you're coming through, like, why is this standing out? What's the lesson? What am I supposed to get from this? Yeah, I'm not surprised at all.
So tell us more. So step 1 was the word. Step 2.
Yeah, the see yourself and awaken. The
step 2
M.
was to see yourself and awaken.
No, the step 1 was to see yourself and awaken. The S, see yourself and awaken.
Okay, see yourself and awaken. What's step 2?
Master. The M is master your emotions.
So tell us, how do you master your emotions? Please, pray tell, pray tell.
Yeah, you have to tap into what you're feeling. So there is go Google it. There's an emotional scale. Know the various types of feelings that you can have. Most people might just be familiar with happy, sad, mad, but there are others. Bored, jealous, envious, fearful, doubtful. All of those different things are feelings.
A lot of times people don't even know what a feeling is. You ask somebody how they feel, they won't give you a feeling word. They'll give you a description of a situation.
Or a physical state of beingness. Like, I feel tired. When there's so many other actual emotions, and emotion is no more than energy and motion. There's so many other emotions. Like, one of the things I hand to my clients is a emotional chart so that they know that. And when I ask them how they feel, I don't really know how I feel. Well, you don't know because you don't have the words. You know how you feel. You inside your body. You know exactly how you feel. So let's go to that chart and figure out how you feel.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Mastering that chart, mastering the words, the vocabularies of the feeling, and being honest with yourself, asking yourself throughout the day, what do you feel right now? Okay, then you can kind of move on. But we don't even take the time because we're so busy doing. But what is the being? Where am I at right now? What do I feel? Word. Right.
Shadow work is what I mean, we could call it different things, but right now shadow work is sort of kind of the buzzword. And so, I just finished my series doing shadow work with Nocturnal. I'm about to turn that into a mini course to help people understand. But it's just shadow work is no more than introspective work, but doing the shadow work to understand, because once you understand who you are, your beingness, your permanent state, and understanding who you are is not anything stagnant, because you are life itself. You are life. You are unfolding consciousness. And so, just like the one constant in this world is change, you're also evolving and changing. So who you are and what's true for you is what's true for you and who you are in this moment. The next moment you need to reassess. All you're doing is building and collecting more truths about who you are, but doing the shadow work is extremely necessary, because then it takes your focus off of the outside world, and then you move into your inner world where it's actually real. That, again, if you defeat the enemy within, the enemy without can do you no harm. It's the inner world that's real. Wherever you go, there you are. It's the inner world. The physical world is constantly shifting and changing, but your inner world, that's the real world. That's what remains constant. And it's from this inner world that we project outward into the outer world, and then we begin to create. I'm sorry, you want to say something?
Oh no, I'm aligned. I'm like, right, yes, shadow work. See, that's the next thing. That's how they build upon each other, because as you master your emotions, that is giving you more of what? See yourself and awaken to who you are. It starts with you.
And so many of us, because we've been through, so many challenges, historical challenges, institutional challenges. So many of us, it's easy for us to focus on the outside, and try to solve things from the outside. But if you think that your answer is on the outside, then that leaves you dependent on outside situations and circumstances to change for you to enjoy happiness and some of these other higher emotions that you're looking for. And I'll say happiness for me, it's a fleeting thing. It comes and it goes. But what the emotion, the higher emotion I love the most is peace, because peace, you can always have peace with you. You can have a peace that surpasses all understanding. And the reason why they say you can have a peace that surpasses all understanding, because you can still be at peace even though your logical mind sees all of these threats and all of these fire alarms and everything going wrong in your life.
How? I don't understand. How are you having peace? How can you be on this boat when this storm is all around us? Easy.
Come on, talk to him. Tell him how easy it is.
That's like, again, the whole scripture about the Jesus. That's what they were saying. Like, aren't you concerned? Aren't you afraid? Aren't you worried? No, because I got inner peace. I am sitting here sleeping on this boat. Now I got to show you how to do this. Okay. Calm the waters, calm the storm, be still. Now I'm going to go back to sleep. But see, then when we say we have the spirit that's within us, we have that same power. You can have that same ability to command all these situations. No. And even if it's around you, you can still be peaceful. It's like the eye of the storm, a tornado. Everything's all around it. But they say in the center of a tornado, it's calm.
Hurricane.
Like, which one you decide? Where do you rather be? I'd rather be having peace. But a lot of people won't understand that. A lot of people will pull you into their frustration, and you should be more excited. You act like you don't care. And I master my emotions.
You act So let's take a statement like that. And this is where the shadow work is done. You act like you don't care. Again, the other is no more than a reflection of oneself. And so the other is there to help us learn and dive into a deeper truth, to discover deeper truth about ourselves. So you act like you don't care. When you do the introspective work and you take that around and you make it about yourself, which is truly about, because that's why we're here, to have this human experience so that we can understand ourselves deeper. When you make it about yourself, what I hear is, I feel uncared for. Now, you could begin with that simple statement and then understand why I feel uncared for. Why am I even seeking care? Because oftentimes what you'll find is that we are seeking validation from the other because we refuse to validate ourselves. You see, I'm not going to look for something that I already have. If I have a cup of sugar, I'm not going to call my neighbor up and say, can I borrow a cup of sugar? But if I don't have sugar, then I might need to borrow from somebody else. So because we refuse to validate ourselves, we need everybody else to validate ourselves for us.
Speak. Co-sign, yes. But you know, that's what people, they will give and do so much and all these different things, and then what's the other trigger that people will say? You're selfish.
Don't you go there. Go ahead.
You're selfish. What? But when the irony of it is that you are upset because really what it is that you're mad, angry, frustrated that I'm not then taking all my attention and focus and then putting it on you, which is really, is that not the definition of selfish? You want everything on you?
Again, the other is a reflection of oneself. And so if you're seeing and perceiving selfishness, then the shadow work leads you to ask yourself, how can I even identify with it? Because if I don't know it, there's no way for me to recognize it. So if I'm recognizing it in the other, that must mean that I have some type of relationship with that. And for me, selfishness, it takes on a different meaning. I see selfishness the way that I see, like if we say the color blue, something is blue-ish. We're saying that it's blue, but it's some sort of kind of off blue. It's the same thing for selfishness. It's like we are ourselves, but not really quite ourselves. And the only person that can know if we're not quite ourselves are ourselves. And when you project and you say the other is selfish, I would definitely and ask you and implore you to pick up a mirror, because the selfishness that you're truly experiencing and seeing is the selfishness that you have within yourself that you are now projecting onto the other, because you need to project it onto the other because you're not doing the introspective work to see it within yourself. So you need somebody else to be selfish first and pick that apart before you realize that, oh, it wasn't about them. It was about me the entire time.
So can I go back to what was point number one? See yourself and awaken. See yourself and awaken.
There's a whole lot of sleep folk out here, sister, and the sleep folk are ones out here talking about get woke, but they more sleep than the people that sleep. And I don't, I have a passion for helping people to see beyond themselves, because I desire and I feel and I sense a world, a society in which we all have or sense this connection between all of us, and we care about each other to the extent that we feel vested in each other's future. And then we all oscillate on the same frequency. And see, when you have evenly yoked people oscillating to the same frequency, there is no taking. There's no chance to be selfish, because when you give to a person that's on the same frequency as you, they give right back. And the sharing between two people on the same level only amplifies the energy. There's never a loss in that space. It's only when we attach or pair ourselves with people who we are not on the same frequency with that the disharmony happens. Don't see energy as bad or good, but seeking harmony. So if you are cold and you attach yourself to someone lukewarm, guess what? Your temperature gonna go down a bit.
So look, we should have these whole videos. So there's this video that I share with the clients that is about tuning forks. And y'all know those little metal forks back in music class back in the day. I'm old school generation. But what it shows is that you can take a tuning fork. They are not touching each other at all. You can hit a mallet on this tuning fork and it will vibrate. Well, guess what? Just being in the vicinity, the other tuning fork will begin to vibrate at that same level of energy vibration. But this one didn't get hit. Simply started vibrating based off of the vibration that you can't see, hear, And the other thing, that's how when you can go into a room and you be like, something is just not right. Like there's a vibe to this place because there was something that was so strong. It is now resonating within the room. And most people are like, they're familiar with the bad mojo, the vibes and all that. And it's like, you also see people that have walked into the room and you like, it has completely changed. You know, but then you take those same tuning forks and now all of a sudden you put a weight on the tuning fork, the one that's not being hit, which is like life, circumstances, and all these different things. And then you hit this one, guess this one. This one doesn't vibrate at that same sound now because it has all these weights on it. It's not free, it is way down. It has all these different experiences. And then you no longer have harmony. You know, it's dis-ease. There's misalignment. Like, wait a minute. You know, take it to the relationship. We started out, we were so good, we was vibing, and what happened? Situations, life. That's how y'all got out of tune.
I'm sorry. I get a little excited. You might hear some weird sounds doing this. It's me huffing and puffing in the background, just getting excited. What you just said again? You're out of tune. What did you say again? Say it again. Say that part again. Ooh, it's beautiful. Say it again.
It just was flowing. Just the vibration when you're with someone like in a relationship and you're like, we were so in tune in the beginning, but then as you're going along with the relationships and you have situations and hurts and feelings, and then something hits it, they no longer in tune. They're no longer vibrating, but they're the same tuning forks, but you have to release those weights. You have to release those burdens. You have to both discover like, oh, okay, like we're still together. We're still aligned, but you got to be able to process that. You got to see yourself. But that's just it, is that we're not vibing. I don't feel the vibe. It's like you got to do work in order to vibe together. But it's just like how you said, someone was cold. You go somebody that's lukewarm. The body temperature's gonna change.
But you get somebody that's on fire, that's lit up for life, that's staying there for life, like my sister over here. And you put them on stage with a nocturnal therapist who's also lit up for life, and this is what you get.
And we have never met before, y'all.
Never. Just two tuning forks just wandering the planet.
In the vibration, we're on the same platform, and like, oh, like, okay. And like I said, there was an understanding, there was a knowing, because I don't know if you're cool with me sharing, but it's like, okay, I didn't have to use the usual flow of what is this and what is that, It's like I felt a confident knowing just from a picture. Like, okay, yeah, we cool. I can go to the website, like, okay, we cool. And like in the beginning, he's like, you don't have no questions? No, I'm good. Like,
yo, that's what's up. Now I gotta ask. Now, what did you see when you look at the picture? I'm putting you on the spot now. What you saw when you look at the picture?
The first picture that I saw of you was confident in your chair, leaning back, which means that you were confident in yourself. Yet at the same time, you weren't all stressed out and worried or having to prove yourself. It's just like, I'm here. My presence is already known. And so
I'm gonna say, I'm gonna end that. I'm gonna add to that. Thank you, sister. I'm gonna add to that and say my presence is already known by me, because there's a whole lot of people that don't know me, and I'm trying to get out there. I'm not trying. I am intentionally being deliberate about getting out there, because I don't try either. I'm intentional. Intentionality reflects relationship. That's what I say. That's my saying, because whatever is real for you, you're going to be intentional about responding to that. And so you got to be careful about what you respond to, even a dumb shit. When your friend or whoever comes to you say, oh, you selfish. If I'm intentional about even responding to that, knowing that that's not my truth, I've now formed a relationship with their delusion, because intentionality reflects relationship. And so the more intentional you are about responding to the thing, the deeper and stronger the relationship becomes. That's why you don't say what you don't want, because you're intentionally staring at those don't wants, and it strengthens the relationship with your don't wants, and whatever you fear, you attract. So that's why you need to move towards faith. Understanding that whatever that you are many created, and that life conspires in your favor, and that you don't know what it looks like. You think that whatever happened to you was a bad thing, to break up, whatever, but maybe life is making room for the stuff that you actually need. You can't grab something. You can't receive something if your hands is closed. 𝐦𝐤 said, it's only when I let go of who I am that I become who I might be. And you don't know who the might be is, and you won't know until you let go of the who I am.
Yes. So the thing that connects with that is what you resist persists.
Come on.
Going back to the whole argument, like you're saying, if you're talking to somebody, they're going like for it, and you resisting, you arguing with them. what usually happens? That argument continues because you are feeding it. It continues to go. What you resist. Take somebody that says something that's crazy to you, like you said, the selfish. Oh, you're so selfish. And say, oh, thank you for sharing your perspective with me.
Hey, I put out a video. Go ahead. Guess what?
No, but then guess what? They're like, wait, what? Then the argument all of a sudden stops, right? Thank you for sharing your perspective with me. I didn't agree with it. I didn't affirm it. I just said thank you for sharing your perspective because, as you said, what you were saying is reflecting something back to me. That's very much connected to the whole Ho'oponopono experience. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. It's all about somehow learning about this situation. I'm somehow connected to that. To somehow there is some vibrational change or tweak that I need to make. And so basically I'm saying thank you for bringing that awareness to me because I needed to see myself and awaken to something that you just shared with me. If you look at it from that perspective versus you just fighting with me, you just arguing with me and learn the lesson and move on.
We don't take losses, we take lessons. And the past is not for residence, but for reference. And so, what I do.
Yeah, say that again.
What's up?
Say that again.
Oh, let me try to get it back now. I know I said
So you just say, I'm just saying, wait, you'll drop it. The lessons are not.
Oh, yeah. We don't take losses, we take lessons. The past is not for residence, it's for reference. The past is for reference, not residence. And so understand that we're getting these lessons, but even let's just continue this example of someone calling you selfish, all right? So if I, nocturnal therapist Harry Turner, if I call somebody selfish because I do the shadow work, because I've developed a skill of doing the introspective work, knowing that it's the inner world that's real and not the outer world, that the physical is no more than a manifestation of spiritual truths, because I know these things to be true, it doesn't matter about how I feel, because my mind can be easily confused. All you got to do is go to a magic show and you'll see that. My mind don't know shit. And so what I do is I rely on these spiritual truths to lead the way. And so if I call somebody selfish, the next thing I'm gonna do when I get out of that fight or flight state, because it's only in a fight or flight state that I would go against my values and label somebody something else, especially if it's not positive. So once I get out of that fight or flight state and I get back within my window of tolerance where I feel more harmonious, I'm gonna do the introspective work and I'm gonna ask myself, what selfishness inside of me do I need to deal with? Because that's the only reason I saw it any other.
Brother. Yes.
Come on, sister. Come on, talk to me.
I mean, yes. Yes. Look, I'm gonna say, is that so?
Is that so? Come on. Is that so? Is that so?
Is that so?
Is that so?
Oh.
You see, it's harder. It's harder when you do it like that, but the work is hard. Let me take it back. It's not hard. It's a challenge. When you do it in the beginning, that challenge will be hard. As you continue to develop that skill, because again, anything worth doing is worth doing poorly. As you continue to develop the skill of introspection and doing the shadow work, it becomes less challenging for you. Yes. Still always going to be a challenge because it's scary, because we've made thoughts in that trance of unworthiness within our story. Painful things happen, trauma happened, and based off of that trauma, we've made certain specific conclusions about ourselves. And all of those conclusions are in the space of unworthiness, proven, serving as evidence that we're unworthy. But that's where fear comes in, because fear is FEAR, false evidence appearing real. We take that false evidence and we use that as the gospel truth for our unworthiness, and then we never take the risk that we know we really want to take that's in our heart. This is why I believe they say a coward dies 1,000 deaths. Now, I would never label anybody coward, but we can all choose cowardice, because in any moment we're choosing either love or fear. And understand that danger is a reality, but fear a choice. You don't have to choose fear even though you're afraid. Courage is the deliberate choice, the intentional choice to do it anyway, to move forward, to progress forward in spite of being afraid. You hold on to your fears, but you understand that freedom exists on the other side of the fears. I said it before and I say it again. Sailboats are safest at the dock, but at the harbor, but they were never built to remain docked.
See, going back to the songs, really when you said it, it's like, was it Drake, as he said, everybody dies, but not everybody lives.
Come. I threw the papers. I got 14 pages I just threw all over the room. I wish people that's listening to this, could see me do that. I'm done. I'm done. Yeah. People, they die at 40 and get buried at 80. Like one of my past podcasts said, the bucket man list. He came on my show and said that the bucket man list, the bucket list man. He came on and he said people are dying at 40 and being buried at 80. And when I think about that, I think about, are you familiar with Bonnie Ware's Regrets Before Dying? Sister, Google that. That's going to be an eye opener for all your people. Bonnie Ware's Regrets Before Dying.
Bonnie. Is that W-E-A-R-S?
W-A-R-E. Bonnie Ware. And I'm doing a possessive apostrophe. Yes. Bonnie Ware's Regrets Before Dying. And I can't recall them all, but if I can, you have your cell phone on you, sister?
Yeah, I got my computer right here.
Can you Google for? Because I don't want to jack it up.
Yes.
This is gonna be good. This is gonna be good right here, y'all.
Okay.
Just the top 5 regrets before.
Is that dying. A B-O-B-B-Y or B-O-B-B-I-E?
Oh, B-O-N-N-I-E.
Oh, Bonnie. Okay.
Yeah, Bonnie.
Okay. Where up top 5 regrets of the dying.
Oh,
okay, go ahead.
I just need you to read the top 5 for me real quick. Just the bold points. Not the whole paragraph, but just the bold points of the top 5.
Okay, the top 5. Number 1, I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me.
Just pause right there. Now, is that not what we're talking about, sister? Is that not all we were touching on?
Everybody dies, but not everybody lives. Yeah.
That's all I need to say. We say the same thing, but using different words. But please, can you read the second one?
Yes. I wish I hadn't worked so hard. Live smart. See? I'm talking about live smart.
Sister, I told you. I told you if you went there, like, this is going to be so good for you in particular, because it proves everything that you're saying. These people are the Austrian nurse. She was an Austrian hospice nurse, and she literally watched hundreds of her people die, and these are their last words. Ain't nobody really did right before death. They know they about to die, so this isn't something just this is from the heart. This is what they're feeling.
Yeah,
from the heart. One of the last conversations with any human being on this planet. These are the things that they said. These are the common regrets.
So 3, I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. So after your emotions, what are you feeling? You gotta know.
Come on, tell me about that. Tell me why is that so powerful, sister?
Because it's like how you said here. If you're not in touch with your feelings, then guess what? That means you're squashing some piece of you, which means you're not living probably your authentic. I know that word is like overused, as people say, authentic life, real life, showing who you are. Simply because if you're not able to express your feelings. But if you don't know what you're feeling, that means you're not expressing yourself.
I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna hear the word authentic 1,001 times per week over here, because my mission statement is to assist others in developing the audacity to live unapologetically authentic. But the thing is that a lot of people spitting that authenticity talk don't know what they're talking about. Sister, wait, we gonna end on this one, because I know me and you gonna flow on this last one.
Say what 4 and 5? Yeah, because you got to see what 4 and 5.
Yeah, read 4 and 5. Come on.
4 is I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. It's interesting. There's no accident. Today, I did a show with my girl Clarice on the breakdown, and the breakdown was about friends. Another song, shout out Houdini. Friends. How many of us have them? Friends, ones we can depend on. Friends. Like, do you know who your friends are? And what does that mean to you? And then, and 5.
Can I say, friend is an overused word too, and most people don't know how to be a friend, because you can't be a friend unless you know how to be a friend to yourself. You cannot give what you do not have. So if you're not friendly to yourself, you ain't nobody's damn friend, no matter what you call yourself.
That's exactly what. See, we're in the line. That's exactly what I said. Are you a friend to yourself? Most of us are not, because you don't even know yourself.
Sister, I said this in the podcast. I said, I was being open. I had the sister, sexual alchemist she is. But anyway, I told her, I said, she was talking about men and not being vulnerable. I said, how can I trust me with you if I can't trust you with you? Hell no, I'm gonna be vulnerable with you.
Mm-mm.
Hell, I got to do a podcast just to find somebody on my frequency. What the fuck, man? I'm sorry.
And then look, that aligns to right here, right now. Number 5 is, I wish I had let myself be happier. And here we are laughing and being happy, which thankfully my parents were instilling in that when they saw like, Felicia, you're happy. You are happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, absolutely. I thank you for sharing this this resource. I was like, I just didn't know specifically, but I heard about, like what are the last thoughts of, but I didn't know them specifically. So,
yeah. And that speaks to one of the main things that I did not touch on today, but I don't care that I'm going over, because I got to get you to touch on it just because it's in there. It's in there, and it speaks to those 5 things, those 5 regrets, those main 5 regrets from people who are dying, which is this thing about imposter syndrome. So, sister, I know you heard it. You've been asked 1,000,001 times, but of course, it's about to be 1,000,001, 1,000,002. So please let the people enlighten us on what is imposter syndrome and how that gets in the way of us being lit for life.
Yes, imposter syndrome are those feelings of self-doubt that you do not embrace your successes. You disregard them. So when you do a great job, this podcast was jumping, and you're like, oh, but there was this error. We had this microphone thing and this, and this. You got to degrade yourself to be like, there was something wrong with it, right? Or it was nothing because it flowed easily from you and your abilities because you was operating in your strength. So you think, oh, it must really not be no big deal because it was easy for me. You're like, that's imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is talking about, our former first lady, Michelle Obama, how she talked about, oh my gosh, here I'm the first lady and I sit at these tables and these people have all this and all that. And you realize, like, you know what? No, I belong at this table. Like the people, what they have is this confidence, this knowing that I'm supposed to be here. But then when you start checking down the credentials and all these different things, and you're like, if you're basing it off of that, no. But what they have is that confidence and what that knowing is. And that's what we don't have for ourselves. If you don't validate yourself, but you're expecting validations for everyone else. And then when you get it, guess what? You be like, oh, it was nothing. You push it away. And then guess what? You're going to get more of that. And you're like, why didn't I get this raise? Or why did I get this? Because you disregarded all your successes.
And so, and by doing so, you have told life that your successes mean nothing. Nothing. Celebrate yourself. Appreciate yourself. Know that you have just as much value as anybody else on this planet, and no one is higher or lower than anybody else. And so, your goal, you were born on purpose, for a purpose, with a purpose. And so, discover that purpose, because you have a gift that only you can introduce into this world. And so, we need you to become your authentic self. We need you to choose to be courageous instead of acquiescing to your fears like your mind wants you to do. The mind is hedonistic, and so it runs away from anything that does not please it. But understand that most of your growth will be growing pains, not pleasures. So if you run away from everything that's uncomfortable for you, you will miss out on much of your life, and mainly miss out on yourself. And then you will be just another added number to those 5 regrets.
Please. Live smart. Live smart, folks.
Hey, sister. Oh my goodness. I've had a good time. I
did too. Flow with you and interacting with your people. Yes, I love this.
Yes. And so what do we have to look forward to? What do you bring in, what the people can look forward to that you're bringing to the people?
Encouragement. Helping people to be able to see themselves. So here's the thing. Go to my website, Sevenfold Coaching. We talked about the fact of, do you know your character strengths? What do you value? Do you know yourself? Go to my website and you can click on the free stuff and you can take an assessment that will give you insight into what your character values are. Start there. And look, there's no cost. It's free. Now what?
Look, no excuses, no excuses. You can't beat free 99 now.
Free. Okay, Kanye, free 99.
Kanye say that?
It's in his song. It was in his first The College Dropout album.
Yeah.
And it was talking about the was it the Gold Digger song, something like that? And they was like, girl, what is it got? It was free 99.
I'm pretty sure that was in conversation with me. He stole that. You know, he steals everything and remakes it, you know.
But I know that's what it stood out for me. Like I said, because of the song. And I was like, free 99.
Yeah. Free 99, y'all. Go out there and get that knowledge. Really. There's nothing new under the sun. And really, there's these truths. The reason why you have these aha moments and you light up when you hear certain things is because you recognize it. If you didn't recognize it, you would not be lit up by it, which means that the information was already there. It's just that you didn't realize that you were the question and the answer, that you were the lock and the key. You know? And so when you go deeper within your beingness, because like my sister said, it's not about the doing as much as it's about the being. And I say that often too, because you have to know who you are as far as in your state of beingness before you decide. Is in that place of beingness that you didn't decide how to move forward in this physical plane of doing this. But if you don't if you don't check in with your team player, your team captain, and determine what is the right course of action, all you're going to be doing is doing. And essentially your hamster on a wheel and wondering why you're suffering. You know, it's that place of beingness. Find the peace within you and find that thing that is holding you back. All of these inherited beliefs, these situations, you are not your story. Your identity is not your story. Your identity is not what you can or can't do. It is not your title. You know, you can't take your title to your grave with you. You know, my licensure, I have a whole bunch of letters behind my name. And I told people before, those things are on lease. They don't represent who I am. I divorced myself from, even though I worked hard to get it and did all these years and I got, you know, all this student debt and everything like that. If it can be taken from me, then it's not for me. It's not me. It's not mine. It's not part of my identity. This is who I am. That paper just lets people know that I know a little something. But even if I know a little something, that don't mean that I'm gonna spread what I know to you, because my wings can't make you fly. So you still got to find people that's competent in what they do, who's real, who's not just putting up a front and didn't memorize words like a whole lot of people that's out here in this industry right now. I know you didn't probably encounter them too, sister. I'm not trying to look. I ain't gonna call out no specific names, but you hear everybody out here selling a book and don't know nothing about nothing with life. But since they figure that they can get a quick dollar from selling a book or creating a course, they come out here and do it. And so they teach people, but not transform people. Because when you speak with authority and power from the place of knowingness, that's when the transformation happens. Where 2 or 3 gather, but you got to make sure that the 2 or 3, if you got 2 of y'all, you got to make sure that other person actually knows what the hell is going on and operate from a place of beingness.
Indeed.
Okay.
We're done.
Yeah. Stick that fork in that one.
Look, they're tuning forks.
Yo, okay, all right, sister. Yo, I gotta get you on. Look, are you gonna stay in touch?
Yes, you have my information.
I do have your information. I just wanted you to know I had your information, so you know what I'm saying. So my ultimate vision is to connect with other water molecules that oscillate to the same frequency as me, so that we can become a tidal wave of love that radically changes the face of this planet. And I know that you're a part of that.
Then so be it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Look, I'm going to let you got anything else you want to say to the people? Because I can get out of here and let you say something.
Yes. Like I said, guys, live smart. I appreciate y'all. If you want to have a conversation about this, just like Harry and I kind of had a conversation, you can also go to my website, Sevenfold Coaching, and schedule a free smart call where we could talk about this in your situation and how I may be able to align with you and help you to live smart and ascend to new levels of success. So, Harry, it has been a pleasure.
Thank you so much, sister. You mind sitting backstage for a moment?
Yes, I got a client call in 7 minutes. So
no, don't sit backstage and you go to the client. I'm just going to talk real highly of you. Just know that. You know, I'm not going to talk mad stuff when you leave. I'm going to talk very highly of you.
Yeah, I'm just going to sit back here and then just get ready for my client. And then I'll
You do that. It's the inner world that's real, not the outer world. Yes, the outer world, we operate in that space, but it's in the inner world that we make our plans. This is the Nocturnal Therapist. This has been another amazing episode of Is That So? We brought in some great Is That So-ness from the guest right there, and I'm so happy to have known her, and I'm definitely going to stay connected to her. So we'll put her links on the bio. We'll put her links on the at the bottom of the podcast. Please reach out to her. Please check out her stuff. You know, I'm always going to promote someone when I see people who are passionate and believe in what they not only believe but have experienced and walk what they talk. I want to put those out there because there's a sea of what I call charlatans. There's a sea of false people out there, false teachers out there who know how to talk, know how to put on a good suit, have the money to put out the advertisements and to have the fancy stuff that pull people in and everything else like that, but they ain't got no authority. They don't have any real authenticity with them.